Hello guys, welcome to the TLYS show, the Waiting Out COVID-19 series. I'm Li Ying. On this episode, we continue to talk to people about how they've been coping with this pandemic and how their lives are being affected. Today, we're very glad to have Ms Constanza joining us from Argentina. Hi.
Hi, hello.
Yeah. All right. Our goal is to make a record or documentation of people's life during this particular time. So we are very glad that you're going to bring some perspectives from Argentina. Yeah.
Very happy to be here as well.
Thank you. So where are you at the moment?
I am in Cordoba. It's the second largest city in Argentina, and it has 1.5 million inhabitants. Argentina itself is a big country, but not a huge population. So it's similar to Spain in population, but it's a lot bigger in land. So we take we take Spain as a reference because it's similar size of a country.
I see. All right. So how's the situation where you live in terms of COVID-19?
It's not as bad as we thought it could get, because we've been almost a month in mandatory lockdown now. And before that, we have maybe 1 or 2 weeks with cautionary lockdown. So people would try to stay at home before it became mandatory. So we have a little less than 2,500 cases so far, which is not a lot given the 45 million population we have. And from those cases, less than 100 result in death. So I think comparing to other countries' situation, to same-size countries, we are being lucky so far. There is a lot of community circulation of the virus now. So there are cases that cannot be traced to travel. So it is the time when it is more important to stay at home and to try not to interact with other people, because this is the moment when it can get very serious.
So how do people generally react to this measure? I mean, being locked down at home.
I think at first it was really, really hard for a lot of people. It's a big part of our culture. We are very social people. We interact a lot. We get together a lot. We have a lot of parties and social events. So this is really a change in our lives, like a very, very big change for us. We get together with our family once a week, like with our big family. This is Latin American culture is like this. We are very, very social people. We usually say hello with a kiss in the cheek, even if we haven't met the people before. So social distancing for us is huge. It's real physical distance. And we weren't prepared for this.
All right. But after a while, people get used to it?
Yes, and especially because mandatory here, it means it's compelled by police officers, by the military. So now in the streets, I live in the city center, and it's very quiet every day. There is hardly no cars. We are allowed to go out, to go to the supermarket, to go to the grocery store, to go to the pharmacy. And these are the only stores that are open now. So no restaurants, no clothing stores, no city center, everything is closed.
I see. So how do you spend your day?
I work from home before the lockdown. I'm a Spanish teacher. I teach Spanish as a second language, so I teach online. I've been teaching for 7 years, and I've always done it online. So for me, my day-to-day routine hasn't changed a lot, but it has changed the fact that I had a lot of activities outside that were my escape from being at home and working from home all day. So now I have to adjust my routine to spend this other part of the day where I'm not working, doing other things that I used to do outside at home. So I live with my partner, so now he's here all day, which has been an adjustment because we live in a very small flat. So I was used to be alone, maybe 10 hours of the day when I was working, and now he's here. So we're trying to find each other's space and to be respectful for this being at home, making noises, having our lives here all the time. So sharing the space is also an adjustment for me.
All right.
And it's been for other people as well. My family, my big family, lives 2 hours from here. So I maybe travel there twice or 3 times a year. I don't travel a lot, but they come here sometimes. So for us, having to use conference apps or something like this, especially when we are talking about my mother, which is a grown-up, like a senior citizen, or with my grandmother, it's been a lot of adjustment, a lot of learning for them as well.
So how's your family doing then?
They are doing all right. They are in more strict lockdown because they are senior citizens, so population at risk should take a lot more safety measures. But they do go outside for groceries. So with the lockdown, we are not supposed to be too far from home. So we need a permission, like a document, to be further away from home. My mom needs to get this permission because she is taking care of my grandmother that lives a little further away from her house. And we also need permission if we need to use a car. So the idea is within walking distance, you can go shopping. If you need to use your car, you need to get a special permit. So this kind of measures, I think, actually help that people don't go out for social life or for sports, and only do what they are strictly need to be doing.
So how about like a daily necessities? Do you like have to physically go out for that, or you can order online?
We can order online a lot of things, especially if it's food and groceries. If it's pharmacy, it's more complicated because you need a prescription and there's a little bit of control about this. But in the almost a month and 2 more weeks of lockdown, I went out, I think 4 times only. But because we try to be very organized with the shopping, we try to, because we know, especially because being young, I know I probably get less affected, but I know I'm responsible for others. And for me, this is the most important thing, trying to be responsible for others and trying to be as little in the street as I can. Even if it means it's hard for me, I try to do it.
Yeah, true. Do you and your family
bulk shopping?
I see.
I plan and I buy maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, and then when I run out, I go out again.
That's good. So do you and your family take any precautions?
When we go outside, well, not really. We read about this disinfecting everything. We take out shoes when we enter the house, which is not very common in South America. So I think this is interesting because I hear so many of my friends saying, "Oh, this is such a good idea. We leave the shoes outside," like if it was something new. And then I told them, so many cultures do this, and they do this because hygiene. We are so used to be close to each other, to share our cups, to share our drinks, to kiss, to touch. For us, these kind of measures are really different from day-to-day life. So taking the shoes outside seems like a whole new thing, a super new thing to do. And so we do that. We wash our hands with more frequency than usual. I don't wear a mask or face protection because I don't go outside a lot. I just go like maybe 200 meters to the supermarket and back. We don't, well, we do have big supermarkets because it's a big city, but we don't usually do the shopping there because I don't have a car. So we don't have any way of transporting this. We usually do the shopping in the local stores here. Our way of living is having a lot of small grocery and vegetable stores and meat shops. This is the most common thing in cities and villages in Argentina. So most people have really close groceries. They don't need to travel big distance to make the shopping. So I think this also means a lot of people that used to buy in the supermarket now is buying in the local store, which is actually very good, getting to know your neighbors and knowing that there is this other economy beyond the big supermarket chains, and there's this small neighborhood-based economy. So this is actually being very good right now, even with the deliveries. A lot of small shops are making deliveries, a lot of organic food or handmade food are making deliveries. So it's a good opportunity to rethink the way we shop, to rethink the way we spend our money.
Mm-hmm. All right. I can tell that you're pretty positive about the situation, even though there are inconveniences. Do most of the people feel like how you feel in Argentina?
We really, really try to stay positive. We know that this affects our health. So I'm sure there is a lot of people that has not as many privileges as I do. So maybe they're struggling more. I know there is a lot of people that live in a very small house with a lot of people. So this is a lot more complicated. The people that had to adjust working from home and have children at home have it really, really hard, especially women, because they are usually the ones that do the house chores. So they have to be working maybe 8 to 10 hours as they used to do outside, but now they have to do it inside. They have to do the washing, the cleaning, the cooking at the same time they are working. They have to take care of the children. They have to supervise the school tasks because the school is being closed. The school year was just starting. So we start usually at March. So the school was maybe a week and then it stopped. Some teachers are sending homework. Some programs of the government are being held in the TV, so people can connect to the TV and in educational programs. But I know that people with children and people with jobs that cannot be done from home are struggling a lot more and having a lot more questions and more things to deal with. I think overall, because of our mindset is social, and we try to help each other. And even if we cannot help taking care of someone else's children, we try to do groceries for neighbors or to help out in this time, because we know, and especially I do know, that I have a lot more privilege than a lot of people do.
Wow. So this is really challenging, huh?
It is, yeah. It's a big question for the after. So what is going to happen? We, like, nationwide, we were experiencing a huge economical crisis. So a lot of people are really losing their jobs right now. Some people don't know what's going to happen afterwards. A lot of resources are being, of course, putting into the healthcare system, putting into taking care of people, taking care of the doctors and all the medical staff that are working maybe like really, really long shifts to assist the people in need. But we try not to, but it's impossible not to question what's going to happen next? What are we going to do with this, with the remains of what's happening? And even if it's not as bad as in other countries that are, well, in other countries we know so many people are losing their loved ones, and there's nothing worse than that. But even for us, when we have a very informal economy, we know that maybe 50% of people get paid in cash. So right now, they are not getting any money at all. So the lockdown is formally ending the 26th, but can be like maybe extended. So we don't really know. We still have 12 more days, which is a lot of time.
Yeah. So
to wait and to see what happens.
yeah. So for people who are having financial problems, do they get any support from the government?
Yes, it's like financial aid for people that have informal jobs, but you have to make some requirements to qualify. So I know a lot of people don't make the requirements, but they are, yeah, like a huge part of this population is being assisted financially by the government. It's sometimes also an issue because a lot of these people don't even have bank accounts. So in order to receive the money, they need to physically go to the bank. A lot of elder people having their pensions don't have an ATM card, so they have to go physically to the bank, which puts them in a lot more risk, especially if they are elder people or they have some condition, some disability. These people are usually the more vulnerable population. They still need to physically go to the bank or physically go to turn in documents to get this aid. So it's really complicated. I think it's a time of contradictions. There are so many things that we need to be proud of, we need to be happy about, because we are making a great effort to control or to contain or to stay healthy. But at the same time, there's so many other things we are not able to control. There are so many things that are way beyond of the things we are, or are very different from the things we wanted to be, you know, how. So there's a huge expectation on these things, and we need to try to stay calm and to stay open. I read yesterday, which I find most strange here, that some populations are banning alcohol, which for me is completely unseen before. I've never heard something like this in Argentina. And because alcohol is not only for parties, for us, it's a part of our social life. We drink wine, we share. So the idea of banning alcohol for me, it's uncanny. I think if this happens, I'll struggle. And not because I need alcohol, because I know it's a part of my well-being, knowing that I can sit and relax and have a glass of wine, which is not a big deal for me. So there are all this uncertainty in day-to-day life, every day. And even if it seems like it's a permanent holiday, like a national holiday, because everything is so quiet, it feels strange. It feels strange being in the inside, and it feels strange going outside as well, because everyone is super quiet and people hardly speak and people hardly make eye contact with each other. And because we're not allowed to go outside for sports or for running or for walking our pets, so I think this, in the long term, it is affecting how people feel and how people react to the situation.
I see. So, do you follow the news closely every day?
I used to do it, like every day I used to take maybe 1 hour or 2 hours every day to read the news. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm not used to it. And I don't have cable here, so I don't depend on the TV. I rather read the newspaper online. And I used to do it maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then we'd listen to the radio all day here. But we get a little burnout with all the information, because sometimes it's the same information throughout all the day. Sometimes it's information that is really not relevant specifically to our situation, or about, I don't know, celebrities or local celebrities or issues some other towns are having. So we get a little burnout from this, and we try to reduce now the time we expose ourselves to the news.
Mm-hmm.
I read about infodemics, like information pandemics, people being overexposed to the news and even being drilled by all these news that are consistently making sad viewpoints or only taking the bad perspective. And I think that was affecting me. So I try to be aware of the situation and keep all the important or the most day-to-day news, but I don't get a lot into, because I get overwhelmed with all this information.
Mm-hmm.
And I get scared.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So what are you scared about?
I think I'm not scared of getting sick myself. I don't know why. I try to think that I'm a very healthy person. I get scared of things going out of control. So I get scared of maybe violent demonstrations or these kind of things. I know that it's very important to prevent from the healthcare system collapsing. So I think if we come to this point, I'm scared of the social outburst. This is what really, really scares me, especially because we have a very recent and sad history of non-democratic times. So for me, this is one of the biggest scares, like people going crazy in the streets or people getting violent in the street. This really scares me.
Yeah. All right. Do you think there's more that can be done to get through this tough time from all levels?
I think we could all do more in terms of solidarity. I think we are, as a society, used to only take care of ourselves. So I think we really could, I think I really could do more in helping others, even financially. I think we should consider this time as a challenge in this. I think we could all do a lot better as human beings in solidarity terms. And I think I'm happy and I'm proud that a lot of people is doing, like globally. I think in this time, a lot of people is sharing their knowledge. I think giving out their work for free. Books, book publishers are allowing downloads. Content sites are allowing viewers. Teaching sites are allowing free students. And I think it says good about ourselves that we're trying to do the best with each other, and we're not trying to save ourselves alone. But I think we could do more. I think it's also hard because we're afraid to interact with other people now more than before. I usually wasn't afraid to interact with someone in the street, even knowing that there's a lot of risk in this.
Mhm.
And knowing that this is a part of our culture, we try to help each other, we try to even to have friendly conversation with strangers. So I think now it's the time when we held back a little bit in these interactions, and maybe this is the time where we should be doing it the most with proper care, taking the measures we need to take care, but we should be doing it a little more. We should be reaching out to others a little more, even to strangers.
Mhm. How do you think this pandemic has influenced you?
I think it has shown me that I need a lot less to live with, like in the material way of the word. I need a lot of less comfort. I need a lot of less things to do. And even I thought I have a very simple life before. This experience has shown me that I could have a lot more simple life. I could just do everything I need to do and do a lot more and challenge myself a lot more. I think sometimes because being in a place of comfort, you don't do a lot of things you could be doing or you want to do, but you don't find the time or you don't find the opportunity. So for me, this has been very challenging in this. I try to work out at home instead of going to the gym because it's closed. So I try to be more aware of my body. I try to be more aware of my mindset. So all these things that I would completely take for granted, that my body is working, that my body can move, that my mind is okay. So now I need to take the time to think about all these things. And for me, it's been, I practice yoga from a long time, and now it's been a really challenging time to do this in a more routinary way, to do it thoughtfully, to actually do it thoughtfully. So for me, it's been a growing experience in so many things, and in the tolerance with my partner, with sharing the house, with sharing the tasks the house involves. And also it's been, for me especially, because this is very important in my life, a time to be aware of my waste. So the things we throw out, the garbage we produce, the way we shop in order to waste less. This may sound like very small things, but when you build up all these things, they make huge impact in day-to-day life. So we're trying to keep track, for example, of how much garbage we make, like in volume. And this has been, because we have the time to think about this right now, this has been amazing for us. Like, well, we have all this waste. Which ways can we make it less? What things can we do, even staying at home, without needing to go out, without needing to buy supplies to do this? What can we actually do to make this smaller? And I think a lot of people is asking themselves this. This is the time when the services, all the things we depend on are still working. So if I feel bad, I can go to the doctor, and I can just go outside and leave my garbage bag outside, and I don't care. I don't know what happens after. But now I'm compelled to ask about these things because it is so quiet that I cannot not hear the garbage truck coming and picking up my trash. So all these things became so real. The things we need to maintain our lifestyle are still there because there is so many people risking themselves to do it. So we always think we do our own thing and we take care of ourselves, and I have my job and I have my money and I do whatever I want. But now I'm compelled to ask about this. There is so many things going with my life that make it work, that there are not things that I do. There are things that other people is doing for me. So I think it's a very big time to appreciate this and to understand the jobs of so many people, not only doctors, because I know they are like really in the front line, and all the healthcare workers, but so many other people that are working for me to get the internet connection and the electricity that I use and the water that I drink. So these things became very real for me.
Yeah. So what's the first thing you like to do when it's all over?
Get together with my friends. I want to share a meal, like to physically share a meal, because now we've been doing Zoom meetings, or like having with a lot of people, like maybe 8 or 10 friends, putting the computer in the table and sharing the meal virtually. But I really want to do this. Like, not even go to the restaurant. I want to have people over, or I want to go to a birthday party. I want to meet people again.
I see. Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
There is one more thing that I thought about that is an issue here, or that is a thing in Argentina because of our culture, and because when I was thinking about how women need to stay at home and do a lot more work, and they have this maybe like double or triple workload than they used to do, I thought about all these women that are staying at home and are experiencing gender violence. In Argentina, gender violence is a huge issue that we need to learn to deal with. And a woman is killed every 24 hours, or maybe a little less, because of from her partner or ex-partner or someone in their close family cycle. So I think this is the time where violence is increasing for a lot of women, and also it's the time where it became obvious and it became evident what we've been saying for a really long time, and it's not being outside, it's not how you were dressed, it's not what you were doing. Gender violence is something we need to control socially. It's not the fault of women, because now women are at home with their aggressors, and this for us, I would like to see this when I read the newspaper. And I don't always read this when I read the newspaper, but I know because we try to keep our memory for all these women that lost their lives to their male partners or for their gender violence. So I think about this now a lot more. I think about this because I know there's so many women staying at home and having to deal every day-to-day life with their aggressors. And I think I would hope that this is the time for us to make a lot more solidarity bonds and to be able to provide real help for all these women that are needing it.
Mm-hmm. And
I know it's not. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that it's not like specifically pandemic related, but it's specifically related to the fact that we need to stay at home. Mm-hmm. Because before going out, it was the possibility of getting help, and now it's not anymore.
Yeah, and because of social distancing, a lot of the cases of violence probably are silent at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay. This is one of the social issues that might arise from this pandemic, huh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope so. I hope that we finally get to have an open, honest conversation socially about this issue, about what we need to do to make this stop altogether, because it's not one person's problem.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this
information.
It's been a pleasure, Lee. With us. Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and it's really nice listening to you. And I think a lot of our listeners will feel the same. Stay well and take care.
You too, take care,
Yeah,
and thanks a lot for the interview. I have a lot of fun.
yeah. Thank you so much.